have you ever just stopped and asked yourself, wait, why did I just do that? I mean, not just what you did, but the real deep down reason behind it. Well, today we're going to dig into the fascinating philosophy behind our actions. Think about it. It's a question we ask all the time, right? Why'd you do that? And on the surface, it seems so simple. But when you look closer, there's this incredible split between the reasons we should have for doing something and the reasons we actually have. So let's really get into it. This question, it's not just some throwaway line. It's actually one of the most fundamental questions we can ask about being human. It gets to the heart of justification, motivation, and, well, explanation.
Okay, check this out. It's a super simple scenario. The action is exactly the same. You help a friend move. But the why behind it, that changes everything. Are you doing it just because they're your friend and you want to help? Or is it because you're hoping to borrow their truck next weekend? See? Same action, but two totally different reasons on the inside. And believe me, that difference, it means everything.
So how do we make sense of this? Well, lucky for us, philosophy gives us a really powerful tool. And it all starts by splitting reasons into two basic kinds. All right, first up is something called a normative reason. Now, the easiest way to think about this is it's the good reason. It's a real objective consideration, based on facts, that actually supports doing something. It's the reason you should act, even if you don't realize it's there. And then, on the other hand, you've got the motivating reason. This is the one that was actually rattling around in your head. It's what really guided you, the psychological trigger. And here's the key part. Your motivating reason might be a good normative one, or it could be something completely different. The philosopher T.M. Scanlon just nailed it. He said a normative reason is simply a consideration that counts in favor of an action. It's such a simple phrase, but it perfectly captures what justification is all about. So let's zoom in on these normative reasons for a second, the so-called good reasons. You can think of them as the gold standard, right? They're the benchmark we can measure our actions against. And what's so important to get here is that these reasons aren't just about how you feel. Not at all. They're anchored in reality. They're based on cold, hard, objective facts about the world that genuinely support doing one thing over another. So these objective reasons, they kind of have two main jobs. First, they help us figure out what we really ought to do in a situation. And second, they're the actual pros and cons we should be juggling in our heads when we're trying to make a solid decision. And it's always this balancing act, isn't it? Like, you've got a reason for telling a joke. Hey, it's funny. That's a point in its favor. But then you've got a reason against it. It might totally embarrass someone. Making a good choice here means weighing those competing real reasons to figure out the right way to go. Okay, so now let's flip the coin and talk about those motivating reasons. This is where we get into what's really driving us. And, well, sometimes what's in our heads is completely disconnected from what's real. This is where it gets super interesting. What happens when the thing that's pushing you to act, the thing you truly believe is a good reason, just isn't a fact? This is what philosophers call an error case. And for the perfect, if tragic example, you gotta look to Shakespeare's Othello. I mean, what was his motivating reason for doing what he did? It was his absolute, unshakable belief that his wife, Desdemona, was unfaithful. So let's put our new tool to the test. We know what his motivating reason was, but was it a good normative reason? Was it actually a fact that counted in favor of what he did? And the answer is a heartbreaking, tragic no. Absolutely not. Why? Because it wasn't true. Desdemona was innocent. So Othello's motivating reason was not a normative reason, because it simply wasn't a fact. He was acting on what felt like a powerful, totally compelling reason, but it was only an apparent reason. And this really gets us to the heart of it all. This relationship, or mismatch, between our inner motivations and the actual facts of the world, well, it has huge consequences. Because what's at stake here isn't just about being right or wrong. It's something much deeper. It's about the moral worth of our actions. You see, doing something for the right reasons is what makes an action truly praiseworthy. This firefighter example makes it crystal clear. Okay, so you've got two firefighters. Both of them do the exact same heroic thing. They save a child from a fire. The normative reason, the good reason, is identical for both. That child's life is incredibly valuable. But look at what's motivating them. Hero A is driven by that very fact, the value of the child's life. Hero B, on the other hand, is motivated by wanting praise and a reward. Now, they both did the right thing, for sure, but only Hero A's action has real moral worth. They get the credit, because their personal motivation was lined up perfectly with the real reason.
So, you see, this isn't just some dusty, abstract philosophy. Understanding the difference between normative and motivating reasons is a genuinely practical tool for making sense of ourselves and of everyone else.
So, here's what it all boils down to. Normative reasons are all about justification. They help us figure out if an action is right or wrong. Motivating reasons, on the other hand, are about explanation. They tell us why someone actually did the thing. But maybe the most important part is that this whole idea gives us a powerful way to look inward, to really honestly examine our own true motivations. So the next time you do something, maybe pause for a second and ask yourself, am I doing this for a real, objective reason? Or is it just an apparent one that feels right? Because that answer, it doesn't just explain what you did. In a way, it defines who you are. So, what are the true reasons you do what you do?